Welcome to the Genuinely Curious podcast. I'm your host, Shantiana, and yeah, I have been gone for a little while, and sorry for the hiatus. That's my bad. I had like the most chaotic week a couple of weeks ago. I guess maybe a month ago now. It's taking me that long to recover, but I just fell off. But hopefully y'all enjoyed the last episode, the interview I had with Allison Stoner. It was so much fun. It was recorded back in July, so I was so glad that got posted finally. But had such a great time, lots of laughs. If you listened, you know. And hopefully I'll have them back on another time. But let me just catch you up on this week that I was talking about, okay? So started off, I got invited last minute to go to New York, which was my second time in New York. If you listen to the podcast, you know I went for the first time earlier this year where it was like, it poured the whole time I was there. But vibes were fine. We persevered. We were alone. And we just went to go see Broadway show, checked that off the list, had the most amazing ramen I've ever had in my life, thanks to a recommendation from Neha. If you don't follow her, she covers F1 and does a really good job in tennis, so make sure you check that out. But she gave me a great recommendation to Ichiran. So when I went to New York last minute for this event, I made sure to go there. But let me start back at the beginning, okay? As a part of this program for ESPN, I was able to go to the Golden Bachelorette High Tea, which was a tastemakers event, which like, what even is that? I don't know. I think it means like influencers and other people who taste make. Okay, glad we did that. And so I flew up there last minute, just like bought the flight, went up there, picked up at the airport by my friend Maggie, who we played high school basketball together, and stayed at her place and then went into the city the next day. So this is on a Monday night, okay? The event is at 4 p.m. on Tuesday. But I was already planning to go to a meeting in Washington, D.C. for the Night Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics, which is something I've been a part of for like 7 years at this point. So I knew I had to go to this meeting, but I was like, I got to make this Golden Bachelorette thing happen because I love the show. And I have been loving the show, y'all. It's so good. But this event happened before the premiere, like literally the day before the premiere. But Joan was so nice. Okay. And it was at this beautiful location at the Whitby. And it was in the Orangery, which I think is a restaurant within the Whitby, but super swanky hotel. When I walked in, I locked eyes with Lily Collins from Emily in Paris. I was like scanning the room, of course, because I just opened the door and she was looking toward the door. It's like a very small lobby. She looked at the door. I was coming through the door. We looked at each other. I kept moving. So wow. What a time. What a time to be alive. But I continued on and I had to go to the bathroom first because, and y'all have to bear with me, this is the second time I'm recording this podcast, okay? We struggled yesterday. Everything was dying. The light was dying. The recorder was dying. Like we just had a time. So this is my second take at talking about this. But I go to the bathroom because I took the subway in. Okay, so I took the train in, or is that all the same thing? I think I took the train in and went to Ichiran because that was priority number one. Had my ramen, and then I went and got changed at my friend Anne's house. Shout out to her. That's how I got to go to the event. And then I went to the event, but because I was like rushing and I had thrown on this blazer on top of this pink satin dress, I was sweating through it. And like, boob sweat, you know, but it was like going down my torso. So I just had these like two dark streaks and I was like, well, I can't go into the event like this or too many photos. Couldn't really cover it with a blazer. So anyway, I go to the bathroom and I just have to take the dress off because, you know, satin dries well if you take it off the body. So there I was in the Whitby bathroom just trying to get dry. Eventually I go into the event, put the blazer back on. And I talked to Joan for like a solid, 5 minutes. Like when I get there, there are only a few of us there. And I talked to her, asked her about the show, asked her about her experience when she was on The Golden Bachelor, just about, you know, the food on the table, all the like behind the scenes stuff that I've been wondering about the Golden series. So we have now found that the Golden Bachelor series is probably better than the regular series. Like at this point, we're just in love with both the Golden Bachelor and the Golden Bachelorette. The men on the season are so good. I appreciate them because a lot of them are like homemakers because they either lost their significant other or they've been on their own for a long time. And so I don't know. I just like loved seeing that. It kind of restored my faith in men. Not really. But the 60-year-old ones, yes. So, love Charles. If you watch the show, I love Charles. There's so many of them. Gary, just like so many guys on that show that are so good. So if you're not watching, definitely tap in. I think this is like going to finish as one of the best Golden Bachelor shows. And I also want a Golden Bachelor in Paradise. I've been campaigning for this. I think it's just time. We need it. They can be at a resort. I don't need them to be at the beach. You know, old people don't like to do things that they don't want to do. And so I just think, like, let them go to the resort, play tennis, play racquetball, play pickleball, play golf, have little date nights. Like, it would be so good. And there's so many pairs that I would make out of the Golden Bachelor contestants and the Bachelorette contestants. But moving on. So that was Monday to Tuesday. So after this event, Maggie drove me to the airport. I flew out of New York City and flew to DC at 9 p.m. Got to DC around 10:30, got to my hotel, went to sleep, only to wake up for a morning meeting for the night commission, which was an all-day affair. It's meetings all day. It's a public meeting. It's live streamed. My phone rang. I was so embarrassed. Not that it rang. My phone is always on silent, but there's this system through my job that it bypasses all of that if there's an emergency. And so that went off twice and that was embarrassing, but we persevere. So had a great meeting there, talking college sports, all the things that are happening to the NCAA, the lawsuits, just a long day talking about student athlete experience, all these different things, college football. And I fly back home just to go to work for the next day, to pack again to go and fly to Wilmington. Okay, so if you're tracking, we went Monday night to New York, spent the day in New York. That night, flew to DC. Great. DC evening, flew back to Atlanta for the day, only to fly to Wilmington the next morning at 7 a.m. Okay. Not my best planning, but it was so much fun. And I'm somebody I hate to go. That's not my deal. I want to be on my couch watching my shows. Okay. But this was such a good week for me. Anyway, so go to Wilmington with my friend Jessica. We go to all the sites for One Tree Hill. That's what we go for. We go for the One Tree Hill experience. We have been kind of eyeing these conventions for years. And it's not necessarily a real convention where you go to convention center and you have meet and greets and that sort of thing. There are random events throughout the weekend. You can go to a photo op, or you could go to what we did was a basketball game with the cast members. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The first day we got there, we went to the locations Lucas's house, Peyton's house, Trick, all of that. So we go to Trick, and we didn't get tour tickets, so you can go in and tour the location of Trick. And we wanted to go in, and I was okay, well, let's just see if we can schmooze our way in. Ask the girl if people miss their ticket at the 15-minute mark, can we buy that ticket? And so they tell us to wait outside. We do all of that. And while you wait, you can kind of look at all the quotes on the wall. People write, they take a Sharpie, they write on the wall, which we didn't. It's the one time my friend Jessica didn't have a Sharpie, which is crazy. And so we didn't get to sign the brick wall or the bridge, but we go to Trick, we look at the wall. And if I can give you any advice, you need to wear pants if you want to go under the steps and look at the quotes on the wall, because I'm telling you, the mosquitoes in North Carolina are just different. Okay, they are not Georgia ones. And I get attacked out here, okay? But I've never been anywhere where I was attacked in such a vicious way as I did in Wilmington, North Carolina. So heed my advice. But we waited, and they didn't let us in. So that was really cool. We waited, and then they finally came back outside, and they were I'm so sorry, you can't do it. Which, whatever. So we will go back another time, hopefully. But we went to the other locations, and they're just in your Google Maps. You can type in One Tree Hill, Brooke's house, One Tree Hill, Peyton's house, One Tree Hill, the bridge, but everything but Lucas's house. Like you can tell those people, like even on Google Maps, it says closed. Like please don't come to my house. And we did feel weird, like trying to take pictures outside of their place just because like people actually live in these homes. So it was strange. So we just did a lot of drive-bys. That sounded so bad. Drive-bys, but there were people like, you could always tell when a One Tree Hill fam was like popping up. It was like a car full of girls. They hop out, they take their pictures on the street. But I will say there were so many couples. And we noticed that when we went to it was called the state championship game, if you're familiar with OTH. But we bought tickets to this game where the cast was going to be playing. So you had Stephen Colletti, who played Chase. You had James Lafferty, who played Nathan, Dan, Bethany Joy showed up, who played Haley. So it was cool to kind of see all these people all these years later. They were much older. We were much older. But we had like such a good time. Tyler Hilton was there. He performed. Gavin DeGraw was there. Okay. And I can't tell you what that was like because it was a surprise to us. And, you know, these tickets were not cheap. It was like $100 to go to this event. But like Gavin DeGraw made it all worth it. He performed the one song, and it made it all worth it. The actor who plays Mouth and Jimmy, they were there. They were doing the announcing. But yeah, just all around, like very cool. Skills was there. Antoine, who plays Skills, he was there. Y'all, it was so funny. There was a guy from the show who was like, I guess he was an actor who played, I don't know if he was I don't know if they're considered actors or considered extras, or when they play on the team and they do the stunts, like the basketball stunts. So I don't know if he's a stunt man or an actor, but he was sitting in front of us and we were talking about going to Wilmington. He was like, "Oh, y'all going to a concert?" Because we said something about tickets. And so I'm thinking this is like a confused man in front of me just asking questions. And he's like, "Well, it's for a concert?" We're like, "No, it's for the show." "What show?" "This show from the early 2000s. "Oh, okay. What's it called?" I'm like, One Tree Hill. "Oh, okay. So what are they doing? What are they doing?" "Oh, they're just playing a basketball game, sir." Like, whatever. So all that happened. He stops talking and then he shows me his phone is like off to the side. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see this, but he holds his phone out and he's like, "From this show?" And I'm thinking it's like a Google image of the show. Like he's Googled it. I'm like, "Yeah, that's him." And then he pulls out another one. And then I start to realize like, that's an Instagram DM. So something's off here. And then so eventually it clicks and I'm like, "Wait a second." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I was an extra on the show, or I was on the team in the show." So that was a funny experience for us. It was like, wait, what is going on? But anyway, that was funny. That was on our way there. So that was same day, but we did the locations and then we did the shops. So like Karen's Cafe is turned to something else. The record store is a store. So you just like go into these different places, Clothes Over Bros. You go to these different places and kind of see where everything was shot. And the shops in the town, which is like such a cute downtown, like Wilmington area, but good food as well. But there's like these quirky boutiques. And I say quirky as in like just more modern, girly boutiques. I got a Betty White pin. That was fun. And it was just, I don't know. It was, the nostalgia was thick. It was a good time, right? The next day we did the game. That was great. And then the weirdest thing, we were trying to get to the river court, and no one could really tell us why this was happening, but every day the water would rise, as in like covering the street. The first day we got there, we parked at our hotel. We went to our hotel, changed, came back down. From the time we drove in to the time that we walked out of this hotel, couldn't have been 30 minutes. The road out in front of our hotel was covered and you had to like walk all the way around, like down the street to walk across, and no one was alarmed. And so we asked someone and they're just like, "Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why that happens, but yeah, it happens." Like, oh, okay. But it would completely cover the river court at a certain point in the day. And it happened all 3 days, or I guess both days that we were there. You could see the river court at one point, or there's no court there anymore. But where the river court is across the river, it would rise above and cars could not go in. We tried to go around. You just couldn't get in. And So again, I assume global warming, but I also assume this wasn't happening when they were shooting the show either, because that would throw a wrinkle in filming, I imagine. But it was so cool to see. Again, there were fans there. There were lots of couples in jerseys, which was like cute. I mean, I'm not a jersey girl. I don't think I'll ever be the girl who wears the Nathan Scott or Lucas Scott jersey, but it was cute. It was like cute to see. One guy, he ran into Trick to get a Cracker Jack box, which is, significant from the first season where Nathan gives Haley the bracelet out of the Cracker Jack box. But he bought one online. It went to his house. They forgot it. So he had to buy a new one. And so, I don't know. It was just cool to kind of see these couples there enjoying the same show. They also had like a scavenger hunt that we did. We were not going to win, so we didn't take it the most seriously. But we just had a good time. We went to dinner at the beach. We went to the beach, hung out a little bit. Like, we just had a great time. And this was on my year of 30 list that I did not manage to finish, but did this year. And it was so worth it. Like, I don't think it could have gone any better. And the Wilmington Airport, so cute, so small, so easy to get in and out. We dropped off a rental and, like, genuinely, we dropped off the rental and probably got to our gate in 5 minutes. That's how small is the airport. Like, Hartsfield could never. Literally never. Let's see. What else? What else did I do? I mean, that pretty much wraps up the week. I mean, this is a super short podcast right now. One thing that I have been thinking about is the WNBA. And I just finished game 2. The Liberty pulled it out. If they had not won this game 2, I would just say there was no chance, because Minnesota's not going to give away 2 at home. Or they weren't. I mean, it's possible now. But honestly, I hope it goes to a game 5. It deserves a game 5. But if it goes back to New York, then I think the Liberty win. And I want the Lynx to pull this out, because it's a bunch of role players. And that's no disrespect to Nafisa Collier in any way. But she has just emerged as a star player. And so for all intents and purposes, this looks like a bunch of skilled players coming together. And of course, she is the most dominant of all of them, but they have a balanced scoring attack, and that's what has made them successful. And they just seem to be doing it the right way in defending and knocking down shots. So I love that for them. Something I've been genuinely curious about, and I became genuinely curious about this right before the podcast, is how do we dispose of batteries, right? So since we're sitting here, let me just look that up so the both of us will know. And I say that because I pulled the dead batteries from yesterday out of this recorder, and I went to throw them away, but I thought you don't throw them in the trash. Disposal methods for batteries depend on their types. Okay, important. Alkaline, carbon, zinc, or general use can go in the trash because they're not a fire risk. Rechargeable and lithium ion, illegal to put in the trash or recycling, including laptop, phone, and camera batteries. Take them to a store that sells them or special waste disposable site. So these can go in the trash that I have, just like regular Duracell. But I'm just wondering, rechargeable, like I have some Energizer green ones that I guess have to go to a store. Okay. I mean, I'm sure you found that riveting. All right, guys. I think that's it. That's the update on the chaotic week of my life. Again, I will do a better job of getting here week to week and like deciding. Let's just decide. We will decide. This is a Wednesday show. Yep. Actually, can it be a Wednesday show? Because the Golden Bachelorette happens on a Wednesday. And I kind of want to talk about that when I get on here. And Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars happens Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. We'll say Wednesday tentatively right now, because it gives you the rest of the week to kind of check in. But actually maybe a Monday show. Oh, guys, I'm sorry you had to hear this train of thought. But I hope you will join me next time. I always have a great time gabbing here with you, just yapping alone. Hopefully I will have a guest soon. I do want to have a guest on to talk WNBA things, and we will get into more pop culture things as well. But yeah, I've been watching I haven't been watching Love is Blind. I know everybody's been watching that. I've been watching The Bachelor. I've been watching Dance with the Stars. Outer Banks came out on Friday. I finished the 5 episodes. Can someone please tell Netflix we don't want that half season thing anymore? I don't know who came up with it. It's terrible. It's actually horrible. I've been watching The Odyssey. I'm not fully sold on it. I think they put a lot of money into it. And Pacey is very good looking, but I don't think it's going to make it. It's a little too obscure right now. What else is happening in the world? The Chiefs are getting a WAG show. I just found that out. Taylor and Mahomes will not be on that, which, like, duh. I think Mahomes would have been on it before the Taylor Swift edition happened, but now that she's there, like, she can't do that. Too cool. Or not even too cool, but maybe, like, she's in a different echelon now. Like, they don't need to bring that drama into their home. And what other pop culture things are happening? Oh, the Grammys have decided to put Beyonce in the country categories, which I think that'll be interesting. I guess she doesn't need to win another R&B album of the year, like our R&B hit. Like, not she should be. I mean, it's pop, so I guess it goes into that category, in the pop category. She just hasn't won the big award, and so if she doesn't, mark my words, there will be an uprising in the music industry. Actually, I don't know that for sure, but there should be, because Beyonce being disrespected for decades is annoying at this point. At the very least, it's annoying. But again, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you managed to listen to this in 2 times speed and my yapping only lasted 11 minutes. But I'll see you next time. Bye.